Now, we've been talking all this week on The Mix, and it's finally here. Waltzing with the Queen, President Ford and the Anglo-American Special Relationship. It opens today at the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Museum.
Yeah, the exhibit is part of our country's 250th anniversary celebration. It takes a look back at the long and storied relationship between the U.S. and the U.K. with artifacts, discussions, and some fabulous dresses. Photojournalist Eric Florence and I got a sneak peek.
Well, it is a very big year for our country, a very big year in history. We are at the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Museum with Dr. Morel Lukey. Tomorrow, an exhibit opens here. Talk to us about this. This is a huge deal. But let's start where we're actually sitting right now.
Yes, so we're so excited. This exhibit is called Waltzing with the Queen, Gerald Ford, President Ford and the Anglo-American Special Relationship. And so we are sitting right now in a part of the exhibit, which is a recreation of the private family kitchen in the White House. So this is where the family would eat their breakfast, cook their meals, things like this. And so this is an exact recreation of what the kitchen looked like when Ford was president, down to the curtains, which we had our set designer take a picture and make these exact curtains. So visitors will be able to come in, sit here at this table, look at some of the delicious food that Ford enjoyed for breakfast, and they'll be able to read the newspapers of the day like Ford did every day.
Yeah, and talk about what his routine was, because this is what he did. This is where he sat.
So
right?
President Ford would come into the kitchen. He would famously make himself an English muffin. He'd sit there, eat his muffin, drink his coffee, and read the newspaper. He always started with a sports section before he would turn to world events and things like that. And so in this section, people will be able to look at some of the crises and problems that Ford faced during his time in office and think about how the U.S. could work with the British during this time in history.
Yeah, and that segues perfectly to more about this specific exhibit, because we're focusing on the 200th birthday of America when Gerald R. Ford was president and his relationship. So Waltzing with the Queen, let's talk about the things people will be able to check out here.
Yeah, so Queen Elizabeth came to the United States in 1976 to celebrate America's 200th birthday with the rest of the country. And as part of this visit, she came to the White House where there was a state dinner held in her honor. So this exhibit is looking at the history of the special relationship between the U.S. and the UK over time and culminating in this special visit that the Queen made. So we have a lot of exciting artifacts in this exhibit. Ranging from the dress that Queen Elizabeth wore to the state dinner. It's this beautiful yellow chiffon gown. We're pulling out of our collection the dress that Betty wore at this state dinner. We also have things like a table that Queen Elizabeth gifted to President Eisenhower, which shows a map of the D-Day invasion. So we just have a whole variety of things that shows how the special relationship grew and changed over time. The final section of the exhibit, we kind of will invite viewers to think about what the special relationship means to them. So, is it something like a famous musical artist that is from the UK that you like to listen to, or what books are popular, or things like that, and just kind of how this relationship has grown beyond the political and moved into pop culture as well.
Talk about how long this exhibit's going to be here, and this is just a small part of a greater celebration of the America 250.
Yes, exactly. So the exhibit will be open from May 23rd until October 25th, so several months. And in this time, people can come to the museum to view this visit, but we also have a whole variety of other things happening at the museum to celebrate the semi-quincentennial, the 250th birthday. So opening in early June, we have the Northwest Ordinance, which is a document that helped define how Michigan and other territories would become states of 1787 will be here on display in the museum, so we're really excited about that. We're also having a whole variety of programming and exhibits throughout June and July, kind of celebrating the semi-quincentennial and beyond. At the end of June, we're opening a small exhibit about Eagle-themed gifts that President Ford received from the American public during the bicentennial. So there's just a lot of ways that people will be able to celebrate and explore how people were commemorating the 200th birthday this year. So we're really excited about all of it.
Man, hard to believe 50 years ago, right? Thank you, Morel, so much. I really appreciate it. What a gift we have. So get down here, check this out. Check out all the other exhibits surrounding GRA 250. Lots of fun things to see. Morel, if people want more information, what do they need to do?
They can visit our website at fordlibrarymuseum.gov.
Cheers.
And again, the grand opening ceremony is happening tonight. To learn more, you can scan that QR code on your screen. And if you can't make it tonight, don't worry. This specific exhibit will be on display through October, so you got some time to get there.